here today, and I think you will keep coming in. So thank you guys very much. It's our third episode of Catch Up, and hopefully we'll keep this going. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I do miss you guys. So I thought, oh, geez, like there's such a bunch of cool people, and we had really good time. Just feel like we hang out with friends at cafe. You know, like in Vietnam, we normally go out, but now we can't, can we? So it's just really awesome. And then friends from everywhere, New Zealand, Canada, Vinh, Ho Chi Minh, and everywhere. So it's really, really great. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it as much as I do. And today, I would like to, the topic today is where, when, what. So it's kind of, people might be wondering what it's all about, but the host today is Dan. I'm not sure where Dan is. If you can.
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. Okay. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Long time no speak.
Since last week. Yeah. So thank you very much. And Dan's going to take us through the when, where, what today, and lots of questions. So everyone just the same. We don't have rules as such, but if everyone can turn on the video and unmute and jump in and talk, and just feel free, because this is free talk, and we all share our opinions and we learn from each other, because it's like we're all from like everywhere in Vietnam, New Zealand, Canada, and India. And last time we had a friend from Japan. Rio, I can see your name there now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so it's really cool. So now, so I just would like to introduce briefly about Dan. Dan now is an official coach for Kiwi Buddy, and we are so privileged to have Dan come on board with us. And he's looking after the business project, which is a startup. And this week we started with the managing your money, and a lot of posts from Dan like starting with like budgeting. So if you are interested in budgeting, finance, personal finance, leading towards the startup, so will be like stepping stone for you guys, and it's a very important skills for everybody. So thank you, Dan. Would you like me to screen share, and then you can take it away? Would you like to say hello to everybody, and before we can get started?
Sure. I'm gonna try to make my screen share work. I don't know if you will or not.
I can set you up as co-host.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'll be able to open the file.
I can screen share for you if you would like.
Sure, that'd be awesome, just in case.
Yeah, so I can be your PA today.
Thanks a lot. Sorry about that. Just having some technical issues for some reason.
All right. So it's all over to you, Dan.
All right, so the idea behind today's topic is really to let you guys have as much fun as possible with this. Okay, so the more you participate, the more you'll get out of it, and we're hoping that it will give you a chance to be as inappropriate as possible in an appropriate setting.
Right. This is Dan. Right. Right, this one here. All right. Is this the right slide?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. So
I'll click it for you because I shared for you.
Thanks a lot. So the entire idea behind today's topic is what you can ask and where, and with a focus on what you actually can't ask or what you're not supposed to ask, and how we learn to know what we can and cannot ask. So essentially, the first slide just deals with why it is that we ask the questions that we ask, and typically, like, we're just curious, like we just want to know things, and sometimes, especially like as kids, we just ask anything that comes into our mind that we want the answers to. And obviously, as we grow up, we learn that there's questions that are appropriate to ask in different settings. For instance, like questions that you can ask your parents, you might not necessarily be able to ask your teachers or your friends, and vice versa. Same thing at work. Like there's things that you'll be able to ask your coworkers, or let's say in an interview setting that you might not be able to ask your boss, and vice versa.
And
So-
everyone here, Dan, because I got a message here to say that it's hard to, the sound is not great from your end. So can you hear Dan, guys?
Can you hear me, or?
I can hear you, but what about others? Can you hear Dan, everybody?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can hear Dan well.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay.
Down this.
So that's okay, Dan. You can continue now. So I'm not sure like.
Mấy bạn nhỏ không à? Này có mấy.
So the idea behind this question is essentially for you guys to come up with, and maybe like the coaches and teachers on here can help out as well with
Không biết tụi
questions
nghe
kids ask them that they are obviously clearly inappropriate, and same thing for you guys to, you know, let us know some of the questions you've asked that now you know are inappropriate. Anyone want to take a chance at this? Just raise your hand and we'll just get going.
Let me be more appropriate. The more when kids, as they are innocent, they don't really know much about things about life. But I think the most appropriate, in a most appropriate way, which in it itself is inappropriate for children, is to straight up tell them what is going on. Don't treat them as an equal, not as a kid. So if you say, if the kid, my kid said, "Hey Dad, why Uncle this doesn't come to our Christmas party?" Well, son, he died. Well,
So-
son, he died. Well, and he will ask, why? How did he die? He overdosed on heroin, and you said, "What is heroin?" And you keep on. That is what make a conversation interesting for the kid. It's interesting. It's an appropriate way to talk.
So yeah, so the idea for this is for you to bring up questions that you've asked that you wouldn't ask, let's say today, but you asked before, right? That now, let's say that you know better, you wouldn't ask. It's not that the question itself is obviously good regardless, right? But the idea is to point out things that we've asked when we were younger, or things that we ask now that later on we might realize we shouldn't have asked. Craig, do you want to take a shot at this?
I don't think you'd ask your boss, how much money do you earn?
Valid.
I bet his answer is certainly higher than yours.
You're hoping.
Yeah. It's the money questions always been the big no in many cultures, right?
But it's a big no. Nobody really talk about it. It's considered to be sensitive to in a conversation. It's too sensitive when you talk about it. But we need to emphasize how much these money talk really matter to when they grow up, right? I have seen people like people my age don't really know the value of money because their parents very hush about these type of things. So it's their loss, I guess. I hope they learn from it.
Yeah. So you think learning about money is important, like for young people?
Yes. I don't want to willingly waste money because I haven't grasped the value and the value of a single dollar, while I would lead me to wasting thousands of dollars on ineffective things, like stupid things that doesn't have any value, but I buy because I like it. That's bad financial issue. That's bad financial mindset. That's a bad financial mindset, right?
Well, then it's your expertise there.
So yeah, you should follow along in the startup group. And, you know, as I go through it and I get to the budget side of things, you should definitely contribute. Okay. Just feel free to ask questions and comments along the way. And I'll do my best to obviously answer them and to help put you on the right path.
Yeah.
But just so you know, we all spend money on things that, let's say, at some point in our lives, we'll be like, why did we do that? Right? What was the value proposition? Like, why did I need this?
Why did you need this?
But the reality is, as you'll discover, is we all do this because there's things that we want. And if we have money, we'll buy them. How you feel about it later is different, right? Some people, let's say, save for those things, and some people just spend it at random without thinking about it.
Like,
Oh, so anyone
So-
else would like to contribute to this question?
Can I say something?
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, so I was thinking what was the most inappropriate question that I have asked my parents when I was a kid. I couldn't think of anything straight away, but right now I think the most inappropriate thing I have asked them is sex-related questions, which is not part of our culture. So it's rather awkward between us to talk about it. So I asked them, how did they create me, and how did she give birth to me? So I think personally, it's a pretty important topic to talk about, especially with kids or teenagers. But I don't think it's pretty common in Vietnamese culture. So until now, thinking back about it, I still feel kind of awkward.
So do you think that
I'm gonna try to make you feel a little better. So, of all the parents who are on this call right now, how many haven't had their child ask them how babies are made?
I'm just wondering if she knows how babies are made yet.
So we're not going to answer the question. I'm just trying to like focus on the fact that I'm pretty certain every kid has asked their parent at some point how babies are made.
Right. Thanks, Dan.
So don't feel so inappropriate. We've all asked that question.
it's in Western culture, talking about that is okay. So the other day, like in this, like Dan prepare all of this, right? And then because he prepared from Canadian point of view, and then when I look at it, I said, oh, geez, we can't really talk about it because I'm not sure about the Vietnamese culture. Like if they think like it's appropriate to talk about that or not. But when I was growing up, it wasn't like, I mean, like my mom told me that I came through like her tummy or like different ways, or I mean, like they never had like a straight answer. So everyone tried to avoid that topic. So I'm just worried right now, like I'm not sure if the culture has changed.
Well, when I asked that with my parents, they give me metaphors, so many metaphors, flowers, the flower,
I was so lucky.
the seeds, metaphor all around.
You are a lot luckier than some people.
So,
Most people, when they ask their parents like how they're born, they either get "I got you from a trash bag outside or house,"
no, they got
or
Oh, yeah, that's brutal.
or that you're born from my armpit. That's the most two common answers I've heard until today.
that's the most polite way to tell for the parent to tell the kids, you are annoying.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I think, so to go back to what you said about this, I don't think that, let's say, it's appropriate culturally. I think that just what happens is kids are naturally, let's say, curious about things, right? And that's where that question comes from. And typically that question comes when kids are still very young and wouldn't even understand it anyways. And parents are put on the spot because they're not really sure how to answer it, right? Like, do you actually explain the real process, or do you go with the birds and the bees and pretend that it just comes out from someone?
The bird and the bees. I really don't know the origin of that story is, but if you treat your children as regular human beings, I guess regular human beings like show them respect, then I think that is a moment where you can also teach them about the bodily function of the human body and also the value of respect. That's my opinion.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about someone else? How about if you see a woman, let's say on the street, and she's heavier set, and you ask her if she's pregnant?
Yes, that may be inappropriate, but if you're a kid, then it's fine. If you're an adult, it's an insult. How funny that's changed, huh?
Okay, anyone else that wants to say something that they've asked that obviously they know now that's inappropriate?
I never say nothing.
I think when it, sorry.
Yeah, you go ahead.
So for me, when it comes to sensitive topics, sensitive topics like that, and we're not sure if we can potentially offend someone when we ask them, then we should always make some like disclaimer before we ask. We can ask them if they may I ask, or if they're comfortable answer it or not. If they don't, or if they're not, then they don't have to answer it. Or we should explain in advance that we're just curious. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think like for kids, they can get away from anything. So but they can ask anything, and which like adults just smile away. But it's good like to bring back some memories, because I'm sure like for us, we like ourselves as well, we did like some silly question in the past, so which is it's cool. Yeah, so shall we move to the next question then?
Sure.
Can I share something first?
Yes.
Sure.
I just want to tell a funny story. I was in grade 9 classroom, and you know, the teacher has to refer to people as he or she. But there was one student, I didn't know for 2 months if it was a boy or a girl. So it was very difficult for me to investigate to find out if it was a boy or a girl. But anyway, one day I figured it out. And but it was so difficult, and I felt so embarrassed to call this person they many times rather than she. So that was very funny for me. Anyway, I tried to look carefully, but I couldn't tell, and that was very terrible for me back when I was a teacher. Yeah.
So quick question, if you were a child, would you have just asked the question?
Probably, but I didn't want to ask in front of the class, are you a boy or a girl? Because maybe they would feel so shy about that, right?
Yeah, but when you have the student list, do they give you like the sex of the gender of the students?
No, I just went into the class and taught them the book, but you know, I didn't know their name either, and it was probably when I didn't recognize the names were feminine or whatever. But it was so funny because the way I found out is because the fabric of the shirt was very thin. So when I was standing behind her, I saw the line under her shirt, and I finally figured it out that she was a girl. And she's a girl that tried to hide her beauty and tried to look like a boy. But it was so hard for me, you know.
Okay. Helen said like she suggests that you could have asked for the full name.
Okay, that would be a good idea, but it's already passed a long time ago. Thank you.
Yes. For next time. Yeah, thank you, Helen.
So the next question is going to focus on
There you are.
why do people ask inappropriate questions? So what reasons can you guys come up with as to why people ask the questions that they ask?
There are many reasons, including trying to offend someone, or it's just by accident.
Okay, so you're saying either on purpose to get a certain reaction or accidentally.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're just curious about something about you. I think so. Like they just want you to know like something about you. Like they're curious. Yeah. So that's the reason why they ask.
Offend someone. Yeah.
I would say most of the time it's because of the assumptions towards other people too.
Yeah.
Okay. And anyone else?
I came across so many individuals who possess a very, how can I say, good imaginative brain. So they usually think about something, how can I say, out of this planet, and we have never think about it before. And to such people, they, how can I say, they has a very high level of creativity, and yes, I have to admit that those people sometimes have a very high levels of thinking in the world, and yes, those people I think sometimes make inappropriate questions.
Yeah. I don't know if this is common in Vietnam or not, but is there the concept of the class clown?
Yes, they do. They don't go in. They don't go in class. They don't. It's not specifically a class clown. It's more of like a circus. Multiple clowns, in fact, that get really annoying sometimes.
Okay. Why do class clowns ask their questions?
Well, let's say, in my opinion, they ask this question knowing the answer. They just want the reaction. Right?
Okay. So are they trying to get the reaction of the whole class or the teacher or both?
Both, because the reaction of the teacher can cause the reaction of everyone else, and the circle continues, right? Like, when they don't need a positive or negative reaction. They just need a reaction. They give them a high of some sort. I think that way. But there's good clown, good class clown, and bad class clown. Class clown that do it and do it at expense of themselves rather than other people is good class. Is those good class clowns. But the opposite is very annoying and make their teacher's life even more hard, I guess.
Okay, and anyone else want to say anything or ask anything about this?
I don't think so.
Would you like me to move to the next question?
Sure. Yeah, I was just going to say that. Like, let's just move on to the next one and see how we do.
Yeah, you just let me know. Yeah.
Sure. So, by the way, guys, this is your chance to say anything you want, right? And we thought this would be a fun experience for you guys to just say anything, because it's really what this is all about, and to get you guys comfortable speaking. So
I feel kind of like embarrassed recently because this lady like I work with, right, and we haven't seen each other for a long time, and all of a sudden we went to the same party and function, and because we were very close before, but then still like in workspace, and all of a sudden like I feel like just I forgot that it was like work like at the function, but then I felt like the relationship between her and we were very close before, so I thought she was pregnant, but then I got so like we were talking together, and then I was about to say like, oh really, like sort of like to show that how happy I was, but then I thought, oh
geez, I haven't seen her like for a few months, and I just realized that I stopped it just in time, but I was almost like going to tell her like, oh, it's like congratulations, you look fabulous, or you pregnant, you know, in a way, that friendly way, but almost felt so embarrassed. But I stopped at the right time. So, because just in case if they are not, and then might have been like a disaster on that day.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So anyone that has any inappropriate questions that we want to bring up and remind us that they've asked them before?
Is this how you get secret out of everybody?
Come on, guys, there must be someone who's asked something that now they're like, oh yeah, that's funny.
That's fun. Okay. I once asked a guy. I once asked my parents, well, which child do you like the most? And they deadpan say my sister. And that from then on, I'm not gonna ask them any question.
Oh. I'm sure it's a big
favorite.
That's my parents very deadpan and straightforward in that way.
How about Helen? Helen, you have your hand up.
Hello, just for this question, remind me the one inappropriate question I asked my previous colleague, because my colleague is basically is a girl, but the way she looked a little bit tomboy, so I was so brave to ask her that if you are a boy or a girl.
Then yeah, so this is like Anthony's question that you didn't ask.
Yeah, so other people just laugh at me. But I feel that I embarrassed her. After a few years, when I look at her on Facebook, she has a girlfriend.
And what is her reaction when you ask her?
I asked if you are a boy or a girl. Because the way she dressed like a boy.
I see.
Then at the end, she has a girlfriend.
What was her reaction when you asked her?
Pardon?
What was her reaction when you asked her? How did she react to the question?
Reaction. She just rolled her eyes and said that it's not fun, and it's kind of it's not clever of me to ask that. So she just ignored me.
So she didn't answer the question.
Nah. I feel embarrassed about that.
Yeah, it sometimes can be awkward, eh? Being put in a situation that we do that without thinking.
Yeah, because of our curiosity.
Absolutely, yeah. And it happens.
Anyone else want to ask their question?
Hello.
Yes.
Oh, actually, I would share a little bit about a very weird situations that I have been through, because like one day I was out for lunch with friends, and one of them is Italian guy. So after we have a very big meal, I mean big lunch, and we have to come back to the office to work. So I usually after the big lunch we feel like sleepy, right? So so I just ordered, like I would like to have like a cappuccino, and then that Italian guy just like felt like super surprised, and this becomes something, and it becomes something very weird at the moment. because you know, then he just tried to explain to me that like in the ways Italians enjoy milk, they don't usually have like cappuccino like after lunch or after any big meal. That's very, to them is a little bit like a sin in a very funny way. So it's similar to like we order chicken with pasta. So it might become something very imperious if we did it, especially in front of the Italians. So that is something, you know, I just need a lot of explanations after I ordered the cappuccino. But whatever, I got what I ordered, and I understand something more about the Italian culture.
So in your example, like a question, let's say, I mean, I don't think your question is inappropriate. I think it's appropriate. Actually, it's a way for you to learn about someone else's culture. Because let's say, had you not ordered the cappuccino, then you wouldn't have had the conversation about it.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I just think it's okay, but you know, just because the way he reacts when I just ordered a cappuccino after, you know, a big lunch, that make me really curious about why he reacts that way, and maybe to Italians that is something very serious about, you know, food, about their culture cuisines. So that's why they usually did have that reactions. So yeah, it's not too serious, but it's something that we might accidentally face, you know, in practice.
Yeah. And anyone else want to share their inappropriate question?
Thúc, right hand.
Yes. Hi, everyone. So I have experienced one of kind of inappropriate question. And, you know, sometimes just a simple question, but in an not appropriate time, it's become inappropriate question.
Okay.
When will you marry? Yes. Yes. Because yes, that is the question we usually ask after we graduate university. Just after a few years, it's okay. But after that, we're gonna, because we usually have the meeting and gathering together during the Tết holiday, something like that. And now, you know, we almost 40 and we still keep that habit. And sometimes I ask, and it turned me into the very embarrassing situation, something like that. One of my experience.
That is
common in Vietnam, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like to be asked a question like after like a couple of years after graduation, and people started asking the question, as especially family.
Yes. Right.
So,
Rio, do you have a question?
Yeah, shall we go to the next one?
Sure, let's go to the next one.
Oh.
So this one is focused more on how did you learn what's inappropriate and appropriate to ask, and how?
What is appropriate and what is appropriate? How?
Like, do you think culture plays a big part in this?
Hi.
Hi, Rio.
Rio?
Yes. My guess, yes. When I was young, like 18 years old, I did a part-time job at first, and then it was it's good experience for me because before that time I haven't the chance to work with elderly people. That's why I always try to listen to conversation with others, and then sometimes bad incidents happen because of conversation or misunderstanding each other, and then I always think about what happened, and then I try to learn a lot of things from part-time job. Of course, appropriate, yes. My previous part-time job is customer service. Customer service. That's why it's easy for me to learn a lot of things about making relationship with others.
Okay, so through work, okay, that's fair. It's actually a great example. Anyone else?
Madam Kwa, I want to share something. When you talk, when you want to know whether or not the question that you're thinking of is appropriate or not, I have this system where you, when you go into this this state called I forgot. The state where you I forgot his name. The cat. Come on, Schrodinger bastard. Let me explain. You have this question in your mind. Is Schrodinger bastard mean that you think that you don't know whether or not your question is good or bad? So you ask the question. Based on their reaction, you will know whether you're a bastard for asking the question because it's inappropriate, or they will think they will or the opposite will happen. You are in this Schrodinger Schrodinger alternate timeline part of you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? So in those type of situation where I think of inappropriate things, I need to think of it and then dissect it into many digestible parts, and I could ask them, right? Like if I ask, how much you made, I dissect it. How much do you have in your bank account right now? That's too personal. How much do you have in your pocket? That's a bit too personal. Let's dive down. Hey, do you have 50 bucks? That's the most appropriate way I can say it. So I say it. Hopefully they get my point and go move on with my day.
Okay. So essentially, you learn sort of by people's reactions to your questions as you go on, so to speak.
Reaction, yeah. If I get slapped, I get slapped. I learn my lesson, then move on with my day. I learned something. That's the most important part. Live and learn, I guess. Live and learn.
Yeah. Or they just ignore you. They don't answer the question.
And I lost. That's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. Anyone else?
We have a couple more people raising hand there.
Okay, Tien, do you want to say something?
Yeah, so I would like to share some things that I've done to help me get better at this. I think there are three main things. First of all, it's about cultural appropriate. So you learn about the certain cultures, especially when you go outside of country. You're gonna educate yourself whether it is appropriate to talk about certain topics there or not. And the second thing would be you should educate yourself with basic knowledge, like universal knowledge about social issues, things that happening around the world recently. That also helps. For example, basic knowledge is about vaccination. It is okay in some country right now to ask if you are vaccinated, but it is not in some other places. Or you educate yourself about, I don't know, politics on racism, sexism, abortion, and stuff like that. But if you're not sure, then you can just ask the person you talk to if it's okay to talk about certain topics, or it's okay for them to give the answer. And the third thing would be if you make a mistake, you would forgive yourself. You would just apologize and explain that you don't understand it clearly, and yeah, then you just forgive yourself and move on and learn your lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got really good points there. Yeah, it's really good. And I mean, it's all about like how to deal, like it's about problem solving. So the more we know and the more we look into like facts and do our research before we go into any kind of like scenario, then it would help certainly. I can see Craig there.
Yeah, Craig.
Oh, I was just going to say there's certain topics I guess you don't talk about, particularly if you're in the US, would be politics. In New Zealand we do, but I see in the US it's a bit of a sensitive topic, you know, between Democrats and Republicans. But in New Zealand, I guess we always steer away from religion. Don't talk about religion because you might ask a question to someone who's a little bit over passionate on their point of view. So,
yeah,
those are topics that we stay away from.
So to get your point about politics, in the US, you're free to talk about politics. People do.
You are.
What has happened, like obviously over the last whatever number of years, as most people know, is that the US has become heavily polarized. And so what tends to happen is that if you're talking to people of one camp and you have the opposite view, you're just going to hit a brick wall. It's not that they're not going to talk to you, just everyone is stuck on one side or the other, unfortunately, right now, if you ask me.
In the US, in the US, I had an experience like when we went to Hawaii about 3 or 4 years ago. So at that time, US election was on, right? Trump and Hillary. And then the way we did back then was that we just talked to them and asked their point of view, and then they talked about policy at the time. We just said, oh, what do you think about that? And they share with us quite a lot what they think. So it's very interesting, like, because we use taxi all the time. So each taxi driver gave us different idea and different information and how, and they feels like, I mean, like politics everywhere. They talk about that everywhere. But I learned that we best, like for us, like we just ask question and then they just keep telling us what they think. And we just stay out of it, like, instead of take side to be safe. so that's my experience, like dealing with people in Hawaii when I was there in terms of politics.
Just ask about the weather.
Oh yeah, like New Zealand, we talk about the weather, don't we?
Yeah. Stay away from politics.
Yeah.
The weather is always the same topic everywhere.
Yeah. The weather, yeah. Like in Vietnam, like we have like in New Zealand, we can we start conversation with the weather, like, oh, it's beautiful day today, isn't it? Like in Vietnam, we have like often like people ask, oh, have you had lunch? Have you had something to eat? Have you had dinner?
Had rice.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. so I remember like with our friends back then, because I left Vietnam about 20 years ago, 20 years ago. So I got a lot of friends in Vietnam at the time, and they couldn't understand why Vietnamese ask, have you had lunch? Have you had dinner? Because like, I mean, in the West, we don't do that, do we? Do we do that in New Zealand, Craig? We don't do it.
No. The one in Japan when I lived there was always, are you tired? And I was like, but I quickly learned to say, yes, I am. And then they said, oh, Sensei, you can just have a little sleep and don't have to take that class. So I quickly learned to say, yes, I am tired, actually. But they always ask, are you tired?
Yes. Yeah. Is that right, Priyo?
Yes, yeah, it's right.
So why is that? Can you explain why is that?
Why? Actually, I don't know. No, it's right. It's right. Yes, actually, I don't know.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when my husband went to Vietnam for the first time, and people asked him that have he had lunch, and he was so surprised, and he said to me that why people keep asking me that have I had lunch? If I say I didn't have lunch, or people gonna give me some food. It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask to that custom. They don't really ask you to eat lunch, but they ask you, have you eat rice yet? Ăn cơm chưa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not lunch, but have you eaten rice yet? It's because that is a way for us to know that they are eating and they are healthy, and they are eating and they are healthy and they are happy. That's a way to think about it, right? You don't. Yeah. They ask.
It would be funny if somebody asked, "Have you had rice yet?" And we say, "No, we only had bread."
Yeah. My mom.
That would be funny.
My mom and my sister who is studying abroad. I always ask that, and everybody asks that because it's a polite and fast way to eat, to know whether or not they are healthy or full or something like that. But I have a question. I went on. I browsed the internet a lot. I heard that in Japan.
Yes.
There's a
Japan.
saying. Yeah, Japan. There's a saying. If someone offer you, do you want to have tea? That means they are wanting you to leave. Is that correct?
Sorry, could you please say that again? Offer tea?
Yeah, I heard that when a region in Japan where when you come to their home, they ask you, do you want some tea? That is a signal that they want you to go. They want you to get out of their house. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Well, in New Zealand, if we ask, would you like some tea? It means, oh, come in, like, you know, have a talk to me, have a chat with me.
Yeah, same as India.
Yeah, I heard, I watched this YouTube. Let's ask Shoto, the channel. As in Kyoto,
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't heard that. Yes. Oh, really? Oh.
You must have been to Japan for a long time.
Actually, in Japan, they you don't really visit other people's houses for lunch or dinner. You more often would go out to a restaurant. They don't entertain at home there because the houses are quite small. So you're not likely to go to someone's house for tea. You're probably going to go out to a cafe or somewhere else.
Yes,
they entertain out more.
Yeah, but yeah, it's until 10 years ago, I think. Yeah, nowadays it's a bit changing. The situation is changing nowadays. Yeah, because if Japanese meet friends or family,
em không có cái file đấy.
Yeah, they will go to coffee shop because Starbucks or another foreign companies have advanced, and then they started doing business in Japan. That's why there are many cafe, also restaurant. There are many restaurants, something like that. That's why some people, especially I think in rural area, some people visit. Some people visit their friend's house, something like that. I think rural area and the situation in rural area is different from urban area.
So to give you, like, let's say the Western perspective of Canada or the US, if someone asks you if you in yet, it means that they want to know if you ate or not so that they can go out to eat with you, right? So if someone says, hey, have you eaten yet? And you say no, they'll be like, oh, okay, do you want to go grab something? If you say yes, they'll be like, oh, that's too bad, I'm gonna go out now.
Yeah, different meaning.
Yeah, completely different meaning.
Yeah. So we just had to learn about the culture in each country we are in, or even like, I mean, like if I see Greg, I might ask him different question, but I see the Vietnamese probably ask different question for the same scenario, probably.
I'm asked people from Canada, Dan, right? Mr. Dan, is this inappropriate? I want to ask, do your currency, mostly coins, are called loony and tunes, right?
You can ask that. So, okay, I'm gonna give you something like about the culture. So I found that when I deal with Vietnamese people, they tend to call me Mr. Dan for some reason, but we don't use Mr.
Oh, like really?
We never use Mr. We call everyone by their first names. Unless it's, let's say, a very professional setting where you're meeting someone for the very first time and someone will say someone's full name, or the first email will say, you know, like Mr., but it will be followed by the last name, never the first name. So Mr. only, or Miss or Mrs. only go before the last name. If you're going to use someone's first name, there's no need for Mr., Miss, or Mrs. So for instance, with teachers, we'll say, you know, like Mr. Fuller, for instance, right? But you'll never say Mr. Craig, right? Because then you don't need the first name.
Yeah, although I'm always Mr. Craig, because in Japan, I was well, in Vietnam they do the names around the other way, so everybody thinks I am Mr. Craig because the names are reversed in some cultures. But also in Japan, there's no fu sound or full. There's no sound, so I was always Craig Sensei because Fuller is impossible to say in Japanese because they just don't have the same sound system. So always Mr. Craig or Craig Sensei.
Sensei.
Sensei,
yes.
Yeah, I forgot about the ordering of the names. Like in Asia, it's always tends to be like last name, first name, whereas we go first name, last name. So it's always in reverse. And it's one of the issues. Like when I see someone's name here for the first time, I always ask myself, like, where's the last name? Because you never know if they've changed them or not. But to go back to your question on the loony and toonie, that's a legitimate question. Like, all it is Canada has done away with the $1 bill and the $2 bill. And so all we have is a loony, which literally sort of means one, and a toonie, which means two. So it's $1, $2. Except for that, our currency is the same as anyone else, like 5 cent, 10 cent, 25 cents. So essentially you have your dime, your nickel, your quarter.
So it's appropriate to me for me to call Looney Tunes. Call them
well, Looney Tunes is not the same thing, right? Because again, like a loony is $1, a toonie is $2. You can say Looney Tunes, but that generally refers to a TV show or a cartoon more so than actual currency. Like a Looney Toonie makes no sense. Like it just means $3.
So thank you, Mr. Baltoga.
You just say thanks, Dan. Yeah. I only call people Mr. and Mrs. when in like kind of formal kind of greetings or meeting or function or but otherwise we just call the first name.
Because
Yeah, because in Vietnam, if you say people's last name, it's gonna be hey, Mr. Nguyen and hey, Mrs. Nguyen, and everybody is gonna be Nguyen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It
everybody.
has nothing to do with the names though. Yeah, I just want to add a bit about it. So I don't think it has anything to do with the order of the last name or the first name, because we have so many similar last names here in Vietnam, and we don't really use it anyway. We only use the first name to call people. But the main reason why we call people a lot of Mr. or Mrs. is because of the culture of respecting the older people, respecting your teacher, any older people. You have to show respect to them. So there are a lot of different pronouns in Vietnam to use to call older people, whether they are your dad's age or your mom's age, or older than your dad's, or younger than your dad's, or same with mom. So so that is why asking for someone's age in Vietnam can be appropriate, because we want to know whether they are older or younger than us, so we can talk to them in appropriate way. Yeah, so I think that is why a lot of Vietnamese may misuse Mr. and Mrs. Just simply to show respect.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Now I realize that, because it's more complicated there in Vietnam when you call somebody like anh chị các cô, like it's so difficult. Yeah.
And
you notice, I mean, it's the one thing I've noticed in all the countries around here is the same pattern, right? That there's the respect for elders, for teachers. There's sort of like a hierarchy by age and so on, whereas like in Western culture, it doesn't exist. Like the simplest example I give people is if you read, let's say, an article about Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos, you will just say Jeff and Bill, right? Like we'll just say Bill and Melinda Gates. Like it's not, like there's no Mr. or Mrs. or anything, like even though they're rich. Like same for or politicians, right? You'll say, you know, Trump is, let's say, they call him by his last name, but it's not Mr. It would be Trump or Biden or Trudeau, right? But then there'll still be people that call him by their first name. It'll just be like Justin or Donald or the Donald, right? So there is no attribute there.
Okay, I think that's great. And I think that we have a few more interesting questions here as well. And if we have time, we play again. Chums got it ready for the next one here. Wow, right, it's very daily life, isn't it? Like, what are inappropriate questions to ask your teachers?
Yeah, what questions have you asked your teachers that you shouldn't have asked them?
Yeah.
In Vietnam, it's very inappropriate for the student to ask, when will I get my grade back?
Oh, why is that?
Why is that? I don't think it's inappropriate.
Because I never asked. I just think, I just think that that's inappropriate to ask, so I never asked. So because no one did it, and no one knows. So everything, because no one did it, and we think that is everybody in my class think is inappropriate, so they never asked. They never asked, so I think it's inappropriate. I feel like that question is kind of inappropriate in a way, like or when will we get our grade? It's like, yeah, a teacher teach many classes and have to a teacher have to teach many classes and grade many students, not just this class alone, right? Yeah. But
yeah, I understand. Probably for you, you don't want to make people feel like you push them. Is that correct? Like you give them chance to complete it, and without them feeling being pushed.
How about someone else? Anyone else want to tell us the question that they've asked their teachers before, or something you thought about asking?
I think we should not ask questions about their personal life. Or I'm not sure, but I don't think there are certain questions that we should not ask teachers other than these sensitive topics. We talk about age, weight, pregnancy, politics, religion, personal life, financial ability.
Or like a teacher, like I remember before at university, and we had some young teachers there, and some students keep asking, so when are you going to get married? So sometimes I feel like the teachers like was put in a very awkward situation, like they're not, because if we didn't know about their personal life and we ask the question, maybe like they feel sensitive about that.
I have a question. I have an appropriate one. Over here, we have over Vietnam, we have a learning culture with extra learning. You know, học thêm. Every Vietnamese know about học thêm, đúng không?
Extra curriculum, yeah.
Extra curriculum. The thing is, you should never mention these extra curriculum during class. People get jealous.
Because it's illegal too.
It's illegal too.
Yeah, like in some places it's illegal to organize classes outside of school. Yeah, so it's sensitive.
That's inappropriate. That's very sensitive. You don't even mention extracurricular stuff. You shouldn't. I never did, and I never would. Because although everybody knows that everybody took extracurricular class outside of normal class, but they never mention it in class.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I think probably like with teachers sometimes it's kind of easier to talk. I'm not sure. Like as long as you don't talk politics. Like for example, my son at school, right? It's about politics because he's made it there. So at school, some teachers, because in New Zealand they support different parties, or especially when the US election was on. So my son, he was supporting Trump. So his teacher at school didn't support Trump. So it was kind of like when he came home and he just had like some hilarious kind of topic with the teacher at school. So I said to him, "Oh, you best not to talk about politics at school." And so obviously, like sometimes they can, but probably depends on teachers as well. I think each individual, so we can bring up the topics that relevant to them or of their interest as well. Is like not for everybody, but probably sometimes depends on the personalities. Not sure if I'm wrong, but I think it was my advice to my son back then.
Right. Galaxy Play, do you want to ask your question?
Yes. I think we shouldn't talk about the teacher method, because the teachers they have their different way to teach students. So some students will ask them like, "Teacher, why you teaching me like this?" Other teacher didn't teach like this. I think we should not compare the teacher to another teacher.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it can be very sensitive as well, definitely.
Should we go on to the next one?
Yes. Right.
All right. So this one comes up all the time. Everywhere we go, we run into people and we sometimes ask them things. So what do you think are things to like that are inappropriate to ask of someone you just bumped into or just met?
Asking on a date.
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead.
If you meet someone and immediately you say, "Do you want to grab a coffee?" or "Do you want to have a date?" they may think you're kind of crazy, right?
Have you done that before?
Actually, I was doing a multi-level marketing business, so I gained confidence to a very high degree, and I could get someone's phone number in 1 minute very easily, you know, but nowadays I would never do that. However, before, in one day, I got maybe 5 or 10 phone numbers from strangers quite regularly. So it just depends on your confidence.
Yeah. But for business purposes, or you just ask them for a number for chit chat?
Yeah.
Like, what impression did you give to them?
I don't remember. Anyway, carry on.
You had to stop me from asking. Yeah.
Okay, so someone said asking someone's age or if they know you and their salary.
Yeah.
So what does everyone think about these questions?
Age, probably, like, for sure, that we never mention anyway, because we don't know how old they are, and some people, they can be very sensitive, and it's really hard to guess people's age. Like often, like when I go,
that's true.
Yeah, you go ahead, because we haven't heard from you today.
Yeah, no, I have come across people asking, they meet you for the first time and they ask you, how old are you?
In the Vietnamese?
Yeah, in Vietnam, yeah.
Oh, okay. So like kids ask you the question, or adults?
Yeah, mostly kids. When I go to supermarket, they come, they say, hello. I reply back, yeah, hello. How are you? I ask them, they say, good. And then they ask me, how old are you?
Yes, it's special in Vietnam.
Yeah, maybe.
So sorry.
And Craig said, Craig, what do you say here? Like in Japan?
In Japan?
Yeah, do you want to unmute yourself, Craig?
No, that's true. Like I used to teach at multiple schools, so I would teach like thousands of students, and I was just on the train and they're going somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and the student came up and said, "Oh, do you remember me?" I was like, "What?" They all look the same in uniform, same color hair, same hairstyle. I said, "Of course."
How long were you in Japan for, Craig?
2 years.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, 2 years. Oh, nice.
So we found someone braver than Anthony. They would ask a stranger. So Helen would ask a stranger if they would lend her money.
Oh. Does it happen? Would anyone ask somebody like a stranger? Unless if they have like some kind of situation. Normally they don't do that.
So I'm gonna
Would you like to unmute?
I'm gonna tell a story. This is actually quite common from my experience in Thailand, where people will just come up to you and ask you for money.
Really? You mean beggars?
No, not beggars, just people.
Why?
What
kind of people?
I don't know why. It's just common there. They don't ask each other, only foreigners.
Yeah, that's strange. It doesn't. I don't think it happens in Vietnam. I don't think so. I'm not sure, but I don't think so. Yeah. Kim Anh, would you like to unmute yourself because you typed quite a bit here? Feel free to unmute yourself and speak as well. And salary, yeah, we don't talk about that. Oh, what do we normally like talk when? What do you talk when you see a stranger, or sit next to somebody in a bus or the train? What do you normally talk in different culture?
We ask a
do
time.
absolutely nothing.
We ask a time, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And what do you ask? Do we talk to stranger in the train or the bus in Vietnam?
No.
No.
We don't usually talk to strangers.
No. It's on the weather or things like that. Very general conversation.
I mean, some people do. Like I know people who do, but I personally don't.
Yes, I think we usually where are you, and what do you do, or something like that.
But
yeah, I always say that you find the true extroverts. They're the people that will ask random strangers questions anywhere, right? Like on an elevator, on a train, on a bus, at a store. They'll literally just come up and ask something.
Yeah,
they don't really care if you know them or not. Just like, hey, how's the weather today?
Yeah. One time I was on the plane flying from Auckland down to Dunedin, and I sat right next to this guy. And then as soon as I sat down, he just couldn't stop talking. And then all of a sudden we talked the whole time. And but it was really funny, like, because I sat down, I started
calling my son before I left, and I calling my son and I told him that okay, I can take off, and I'm on the plane because the weather in New Zealand really bad, and then the flight was delayed the night before, so we had to we were put on this flight, and then this guy saw me texting like non-stop before we took off, and then he said to me that and I said to him because he was asking me a few questions, I said, oh, I'm just trying to text my son and tell him that, oh, now I'm safe, I'm taking off, and then he told me it's not about taking off, it's about landing, because the day before that his flight from Auckland to Dunedin, because of the wind in Dunedin, he couldn't land, and then divert to Christchurch, and then in Christchurch they couldn't land either because of the weather's bad, and then they had to make the way back to Auckland, but then because of emergency on the plane they had to land in Wellington. So the whole day he spent time on like flying from one city to another the whole day. So from there we started talking about like the weather and all sort of stuff. But that's in New Zealand. Like we talk about so many things like the weather and politics, sports, anything like work, job, and hobbies and all sort of stuff. So I found in New Zealand it's kind of easy to talk to a stranger. Is that right, Craig?
No.
I find when you're traveling, if you're people ask you first of all, are you American? And I say no. And then you say, oh, I'm from New Zealand, and they go, what? Where's that? But also we foreigners tend to pick each other out, particularly if you're traveling by yourself. You know, you just start talking to people, and people talk to you. I met a guy in, I can't remember the country now. I was flying out, I think, out of China or somewhere, and he heard me talking, and he said, "Oh, you're a Kiwi as well." And he started talking to me because he was a Kiwi as well, and he was an airline pilot. I think it was in Thailand actually, and he was flying over there working for a Thai airline. So he heard the accent, and he was like, "Oh, Kiwi accent, yay!"
Yeah.
He was trying to make you feel homely.
Yeah. I said, "Why accent?"
All right, should we move on to the next question?
Hi. Hello.
Yeah, Tom. We'd like to speak.
I just want to say that question. So I don't know what my mind can talk. So I want to talk I share about that questions. Another day me and my friend go hang out, go to a pub, and one stranger guy came over to my table and asked my friend like, how much are you rent? How much are you? And you look shabby. Do you want hang out with me? We like say we smell the alcohol from him, so we know really freaking out with him. So that's, I think, the best situation when strangers came over came over and talk with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
When talk about inappropriate topic to ask in Vietnam, it's mostly about their love life, their salary, and furthermore, never true, and alcohol, because a lot of alcohol. Because one thing, when you talk about hanging out, having a drink, two things happen. One, they will just drink and talk, or they go to a club bar or a club beer where they drink and dance and whatever and such. Most people don't really sensitive about drinking and being drunk, so that's my my 2 cents, I guess.
Okay. Anyone else want to share what they think is inappropriate to ask or talk about in Vietnam?
Yeah, I would like to say something like that is some topics I talk with I have the conversations with my foreign friends. Like maybe I think maybe I'm quite like open and friendly, so that kind of very inappropriate topics that come to the conversation is about something about the human rights in Vietnam, or it's about a communist characteristic, or something is about the the activities to support the LGBTQ here, like um, mm, some very supportive things or negative things about the LGBTQs here in Vietnam, because I have some friends in that community. So when I receive those questions, especially about the human rights in Vietnam, I would be very careful because because it's very sensitive, and I don't want to talk like something wrong about the country, because I know Vietnam is right now is trying to better and better the human rights, and and the other things, try to make it better and to reach the world level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, politics probably best not to talk about in Vietnam.
Yeah, and I think if I got you right, what you're saying is it's not common for people to speak about, let's say, gender identity or sexual orientation or things like that, because they're sensitive topics.
Yeah. But in Vietnam, like people, they like, for example, in New Zealand, we don't talk about money, but I think in Vietnam, people seem to talk about money quite a lot, and they don't seem to think that it's inappropriate. Is that correct? Like, I often heard people ask question, "Oh, how much money do you own?" Like, I heard that quite a bit.
In my opinion,
No, I think it's an inappropriate question.
yeah, a lot of people think it's inappropriate, but some do.
Yeah. Yeah, they do ask the question, do they? And sometimes you're,
Yeah.
why you ask the question?
I don't know. Most people ask about salary or money just for, making a joke, just for fun, just to make fun of other people. Like, hey, remember that PC you bought for like $5,000? How's it now? You let it sit in the dust.
Yeah.
So what you're really trying to say is the jealousy factor.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's jealousy, but sometimes just to pick fun on our friends. Like, oh yeah, you bought a Mercedes, right? How is it after like 500 miles of driving?
Yeah, see, so to us, those kind of questions come from a place of jealousy, right? So someone buys a Mercedes or a computer for $5,000. Obviously, a year later or after you drive it, it's aged, it's worth less. There's a better version, whatever it is, bringing it up is just because of jealousy, right? Like, so you might want to poke fun at them, but really what's coming across is the jealousy factor, right? Like, I wish I could have bought that 5,000 computer, but hey, I can probably buy it now for 1,000 because it's worthless today.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Tien?
I would add something about the salary question as well. So I do agree with Cody that it may come out of curiosity or jealousy nowadays, but I would say the question initially coming from maybe curiosity only, because we have the collective community where we have to take care of one another. We have to take care of our parents, take care of our kids, and even relatives. Somehow not that common anymore nowadays, but it used to be that way. So sometimes the whole family only have one person who is bringing the bread home, making the money. So it is, I think people just want to know whether this certain person can make enough, can earn enough to afford feeding the whole family, and also because of the notion of face as well. So face is a big part. Yeah. Face is a big part of our culture as well. So people have pretty high standard about keeping face for themselves or for the family. So and also sometimes people they think they have the right and the audacity to ask such questions, but it's gradually not anymore appropriate. Yeah, so I think it takes time to change.
Absolutely, yeah.
Steve, you had a question? You still want to ask a question or no?
Oh, about a question. What topics are inappropriate to ask about in Vietnam? So for me, I do agree that there are a lot of sensitive topics in Vietnam. All the topics that if you have mentioned about LGBT or about politics, but I feel like the people in Vietnam, the majority doesn't resist asking these questions. So you may find a lot of Vietnamese asking these questions without knowing that it may be uncomfortable for the person being asked. So I think the only taboo topics that people don't really ask about is sex. So they don't really ask about sex, whether you have sex, how many times you have sex, or how do you have sex, or stuff like that. People don't really ask about it. But the other topics, I would say lots of them don't really care if it's sensitive for the person. They would ask out of curiosity.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
But
Steve,
I would, yeah.
Steve wants to go. Let's let Steve have a go at it.
Yes. Hi everyone. I want to try to answer. I think I don't know. I saw that in Vietnam we are very curious. We like to ask about age, about what if we are married or not. But beside the age, religion, sexuality, and salary, I agree that the most inappropriate topic for me in Vietnam it's politics. I think. I don't know. This is what I think. Because when I came in Vietnam 3 years ago, I think the first question that everybody asked me is, "What's your age? Are you married?" But this is inappropriate in every country. But here it seems like not inappropriate. So I think for me, it's politics. Voilà.
Yeah. Where are you from, Steve?
Yeah, I'm from Paris.
Okay, so you live in Vietnam now?
Yeah, I live in Vietnam now.
Wow.
So it's my first Zoom, so yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I hope that you enjoy Vietnam.
Of course, I enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you.
I see. Nice PC.
What?
Nice PC right there. Do you have your PC? The computer?
No, I'm with my phone.
But I'm gonna compliment. Nice PC. You got
I don't understand that the PC.
PC.
What is it?
Personal computer. Your computer.
You see your gaming computer behind you.
No. It's just a light. It's just light. Okay. PC. Laptop. I didn't know. Laptop. Okay.
It's good. It's good. It's really nice to have like people from everywhere. It's bring different kind of perspectives and cultures, and that's we love it. Coming back.
Yeah. I have a question because I don't know here what about you, but in the elevator, do you guys say hello to your neighbor or not? Because me, when I came like 3 years ago, the first month I used to say hello to my neighbor, but here we don't seem to say hello. What do you guys do? Yeah, I want to hear.
What is his nationality?
French.
No, yeah, but I'm French Vietnamese. But I just know if you guys say hello to your neighbor.
Oh,
yeah,
I think
in
so.
the elevator.
Yeah.
In my opinion, when Vietnamese people are in a public setting where like buses in Vietnam go very fast and very very fast and very to the point. So that's why most people don't really ask questions or talk about on the bus, because they in these public situations, public transportation, they want to go to A to B and not go willy-nilly, and they want to go fast. When they're in the bus, you want to go A to B and go to work. And when they go to elevator, they just want to go to the place, go to the floor that they want to be. So you can talk to them in public standing area, public like when they're sitting down or relaxing. You can ask them whatever you want. But in a public place, they feel like they don't have the time to do. They have to go to work and do the thing that they want to do.
But Steve, also like he wanted to ask about like
I want to ask every one of you if in the elevator you when you find there's someone in your elevator, you say hello to them.
Not really. In my experience, I don't really talk because I never say hello to them, because I think that they have to place they have place to be, right? They have places to be. They don't really need enough time to say hello, right?
I think for me, like even like I go back to Vietnam, except like COVID years, I go back like 3 times per year. So when I go to places, I don't know, like I just say hello to people, or I ask, oh hi, are you? How are you? I just talk, and then sometimes, and lots of the time, people just talk back to me as well. So so I don't even like in the elevator. We say hi, or even like they if I see somebody with the kids, I say, oh, she's pretty. Like I talk it that way, and then we started talking as well. Like, so I don't know, but I also have another experience with Vietnamese students coming to New Zealand to study. And one time the girl called me, gave me a call, and she said to me that, Nga, why do people why do people saying hello to me, and why do they smile at me? I said, no, they don't smile at you. But later on, I realized that I talked to her, and then she said like, but they don't know me, and I'm stranger, and I don't know them. So why do they say hello to me? And I just explained to her that because it's in New Zealand, people just smile at stranger, even at supermarket, or when you walk past somebody, you just smile at people, and then they smile back to each other. It's a way of us saying hello. But I think probably from what you shared, so now that I just realized that probably a lot of people in Vietnam, they don't see saying hello to a stranger is the norm. So that's why, like, I come across like some students, they was very surprised like that.
My question is quite precise, because I just asked if you say hello to someone in the elevator from your building, or from your the place that you live, you know, because I don't know. In France, we when we meet someone in the elevator, we just say hello. We don't start talking or something like that. We just say hello to just show that we go to we live in the same building or something like that. But here, I remember that when I say hello, the people look at me and they say, "Oh, he's strange. Why he say hello to me?" So I don't know. I saw that we have we have like Anthony or some foreigner here. So I don't know the experience. I want to ask if there's say hello to people in the elevator here.
Okay, with me.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to show some experience. When I was in elevator in Vietnam, someone often, someone sometimes talk to me, "Are you Japanese?" Something like that. Instead of hi, hello. Yeah, actually, I didn't know them, but some Vietnamese ask me whether I'm Japanese or not. And then, of course, my answer is yes. And then during taking elevator, I often introduce our culture, our food, something like that. Yeah, I really appreciate them.
I think probably my contribute is that just best to be ourselves. And if you feel comfortable and if in the setting that you can say hello, you can say hi, or even just smile at people. It's a way to say hello. Just be yourself. I think the best way, because when I'm in Vietnam, I say hello to people, and because I go to work all the time, and then I just smile at people. They smile back to me, and sometimes say hello, and sometimes like the conversation develop further, because I actually met quite a lot of friends on my just sitting next to each other on the train or somewhere in Vietnam, so or even in the cafe, and then they're waiting for somebody, and then all of a sudden we talk. So I think just be ourselves in whatever situation, and then we just try to navigate. And if that person like smile back at you, you smile back. If not, if they're grumpy, then okay, no problem. I think probably
about Steven, I would answer your question. Why do people don't say hello back to you? Because like I think it's a part of the we culture, because in the when we child, the parents teach me is don't say with the stranger, and don't match and don't follow with the stranger. So I think that's some reason for the people don't talk much with a stranger when they go outside. So that's some reason. So that's my answer for you. But right now Vietnam is very good right now. When we the foreigner, when we say hi with the younger, then they come back and talk with you guys. It's normal now.
Yeah. We would like to go to the next question. I think probably another day we talk a lot of Vietnam. Is interesting because most of you live in Vietnam. It's nice to have friends like from different countries going to Vietnam, and it's a great way that we can ask as well. But my experience is that I just smile like wherever I go, even like in a place that they said, oh, the people was very difficult. I said it's their style, and my style is just to be friendly with people, and then often I get like people friendly back. So just be ourselves and just live our way and respect others. Yeah. Shall we go to the next question then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, I think.
Sure.
This is the last one. It's good. It's talking about culture. It's very interesting, and it's really good for our traveling as well. Great. Come on. Are you still awake?
Oh, what topics are inappropriate to ask in New Zealand?
Are you still here, Craig?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what's inappropriate.
To ask about New Zealand, we don't talk about people's weight, right? Or you fat, or you thin, or you skinny, or
no, that's because we're all fat in New Zealand. Oh, except for overseas people like you know.
no.
What are inappropriate? Probably the same things. It depends. But same things like age we don't talk about.
You don't talk about money?
No, we don't talk about money. But money's an interesting one, because if you work for the government like I do, everybody knows your salary. You can just type it in online anyway. Like it's well known. Like I don't have to ask my colleagues how much money do they make, because I know how much they make because it's online. And also certain jobs are online too. Even if you don't work for the government, it tells us online approximately how much money they make.
Also investment, if in that case, like, oh, you know, like how many properties have you got? How many rentals have you got? We don't talk about that, do we? Unless we have, like, we talk about if we have that topic.
That's right. Yeah, we try to be quite modest about things like that. So we don't talk about that sort of thing. In fact, we don't. Most New Zealanders are pretty modest in what cars they drive and things like that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be a millionaire, but you probably drive a Toyota Corolla. It doesn't matter to us. It's a bit different in countries like China, where they'll have a very expensive car to show their wealth. And
a symbol.
Yeah, a symbol of their prestige. There's a symbol of their success in business, and that you should deal with them because they're so successful. We don't have that. If you drive a flash car, we say you're a poser.
Yeah.
You know, you're just showing off. But yeah, I know it's different in different cultures. Yeah. But otherwise, it's the same. We don't talk about things like sex and things like that. And New Zealand too, when you ask a question, I guess it's that thing of, how would you feel if somebody asked you that question? We're always conscious of not upsetting anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So think about that. If somebody asked you that question, how would you feel?
Yeah, we normally in New Zealand, people are gentle, very gentle with how they ask and the topic they talk about. Nothing like into like privacy. But we talk about things that, like, for example, we talk about politics quite a lot here. Policy, very open, so we don't have to hide anything. But we don't talk about religion either.
No, we talk about the rugby a lot.
Yeah, sports.
A lot.
Travel, travel, sports, and politics. Yeah, everything, even like at interviews, people talk about that as well. So if normally people, if they want to get a job in New Zealand, normally you often need to like understand more about the culture, and then because probably half of the conversation talking about different topic instead of work. So that I just know like if you are well-rounded type of person or not.
Yeah.
Which in Vietnam I found that people don't talk about general knowledge that much, and people don't even a lot of people, they don't care or they don't know either. Is that correct?
Yeah. Look, if you go to work on Monday because we had the rugby on Saturday, make sure you watch the rugby. It'll be all the guys talk about for the next probably 3 or 4 days is how we beat them, but we could have done better.
Yeah.
So I think I think I was just going to say something. I think from a Western perspective, the reality is like everything that you do, people want to make sure that you fit into a group, let's say. And part of that is always social. So whether you're applying for a job or when you're in classes or playing sports, everybody wants to know that you'll fit in.
Then I think, are you using 2 devices?
No, shouldn't be.
Okay. It's okay now.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I'll try it again. I was trying to say that I think in the Western culture, people try to make sure that you fit in, right? So for instance, like when you apply for jobs, they assume that you have the knowledge and skills that you need, and they're more worried that you'll fit in with your coworkers and your bosses. So, and the same in every social settings, people try to find common ground so that everyone sort of feels welcome. So there's always something to tie that up, like rugby in New Zealand, hockey in Canada, basketball and baseball in the States, and football, soccer in Europe. There's just always something.
Yeah. So I think just clarify the common topics that people talk about, and then we can like get like feel like one of them, like oh we are one of them, like or the way they see people like that way. So if you have kind of common interest or the topic, and if your general knowledge is good, then I mean you never short of conversation with anybody that you meet along the way. That's what I found in New Zealand. So I can never shut my mouth up because people, I mean, like people love talking, and I do too. Yeah, I see Helen here. Helen said, I would boldly like to ask. Oh, I mean, like, how often do you go to the gym? Why don't you get married? Why you don't have kids? Why don't you have kids? Yeah, thank you, Helen. Yeah, and Rio said, I want to go to New Zealand. Come on, it's beautiful. You'll love it. Lots of Japanese here. Yeah. New Zealand people are just as nice as me and Craig right here. Oh. Hey, Craig.
Yeah, I want to go there.
Yeah. Awesome. So now, guys, we've been talking a lot today, which is really good, and it's a great way to learn about culture. We have game, but shall we leave it until next time?
I think we should. I think we can just save it for the next time.
Yeah. And yeah, so I think we leave game for next time. So I turn this one off so we can see each other here. Everybody, finally the screen's gone. And now I'd like to ask you guys one question before then wraps up the tonight catch up. So next week we have the program. We have an event hosted by Cambridge High School. Craig and his team, like the students. It's a part of the Kiwi Party event. So that will be on the 3rd of October. It will be at 9:30 a.m. in the morning on Sunday. And if you would like to join, you're welcome. But I'd like to ask you guys a question here: that do you still want to have the catch up at the same time, as well as the event in the morning, or shall we just have one? Or the best way, right? I prepare a poll, and if I can click on here and I put in yes or no, and then I will know the answer. So it's the quickest way. So
I don't
now,
understand the question.
Sorry?
I don't understand the question.
Okay, I would like to ask the question that next week on the 3rd of October, which is on Sunday. So we have an event hosted by Craig from Cambridge High School and his team at 9:30 in the morning. But the thing is, I just would like to ask, do you guys still want to have the catch up at 2 p.m. in Vietnam as well? Or shall we just have one event? 2. Yeah, because yeah, I can see. Oh, all right. Wow. 94% say yes. Jeez. Okay. So I think yeah, so we have topics already, and we build a list of topics for the whole, like, every week. So we have no problem with that. So it will be hosted by Chum. So what topic is going to be, Chum? Are you here?
I think I need to talk with you about that later, because like we have 4 topics to choose, but I'm not so sure like which one is the best one that we need to choose for like next week catch up. So maybe we will like decide later. Not so sure yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have like 86 people here voted that we are going to have the catch up at 2 p.m. In Vietnam and 8 p.m. in New Zealand. I'm happy with that. So in the morning we'll have the event, and the topic will be Cambridge High School Sport Challenge. And it will be an event. It will be longer than this one, and we have prizes. We have we decided to have 4 prizes as well. So we have debate. We have all sort of stuff. So it will be a lot more than this one. It's more like we had to structure it because we had students involved, like from different schools. So we have like school from 7 schools. So 3 schools in New Zealand and 4 schools in Vietnam. But it's open for audience as well. Like we can do voting, we can do games, like Craig will prepare games. And yeah, so if you guys would like to attend, you can click going on the events on our platform. Click going, and then you can wake up early in the morning, 9:30, and then can join our program. And then in the afternoon, 2 p.m., we still have the catch up, and Chum will host the catch up, and then we'll announce the topic very soon. I end the poll here. Yeah, so are you happy with that, Craig?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, no, that sounds good. I was just saying the event will be slightly easier English because it'll be high school kids. So we'll make it easy. You might find it easier than just what we're doing here, which is speaking. So.
Yeah. But talking like this is really good way for us to learn, and I mean, so it's the best way to practice English and to make friends. Because I already like make friends with a lot of you guys here, like with texting and saying hello, and feel like I mean, if we stop, I just feel, oh, geez, I will miss these guys. Yeah. So
I wonder if can we do a Mexican wave on Zoom, or is it impossible? Is everyone in a different order, or are we always in the same order? Because I'll be like, whoa, and then the person down the bottom corner will be like, oh, so impossible.
Yeah. So then he I would like to take this opportunity to say thanks to Dan, because he's been working very hard to contribute to our group and the Kiwi Buddy. Especially, we are working on the startup. It's the big project, but we just realized that we start from like budget and personal finance. It's really important skills for every single of us. And if you guys would like to support Kiwi Buddy Club, and also like would like to learn some skills that then posting and sharing with you guys, just check in every day, because he's posting every day and it's really relevant to what we are doing. And at the moment, he's just trying to lead you to from point A to point B. But then later on, when you start answering all of those questions and do the voting, and then we'll help you, and you will realize like the way to connect all the dots together. And then eventually we'll do some programs that or courses or workshops to help you guys improve or understand some of those aspects as well. So Dan would like to say something to everybody before we go.
Sure. So I think I just want to emphasize what I think everyone's goals here are. Like, we create these topics in an effort to help you both with, let's say, general topics or things that might interest you, along with obviously trying to help you improve your English skills. And I think like we all benefit the most when people try to contribute as much as possible. Like, your participation is like meaningful to all of us. It tells us whether we're doing something right or wrong, if there's a better way for us to go about things. And we obviously like to hear whether it's helping you or not, and to see you grow and learn is really what we're here for. So participate. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. And I'm sure that I mean, like with a lot of people here and contributing with the topic and the answer, but a lot of you haven't answered yet or chime in yet. Maybe like you feel a bit like nervous about it or not so confident. But I mean, just turn it on. Turn them. Even like you don't have to turn the video on if you don't feel like not confident enough to speak up. Then just it's okay. And then try it again next time. But then just try to speak up, or you type on the chat box as well. So find a way that you feel comfortable. But the more you do that, and then later on, because like we talking a lot here, right? And then later on, you just forgot about it. Okay, chumming, just like friends hanging out, and then we just talk and we try to understand each other. And also we have all the teachers here, like Craig and Anthony and Dan. I mean, they awesome. Like they are teachers.
So it's the best way for you to learn. Like you practice here, not just like friends, but also we have like teachers here as well. So it's a great way for you to take this opportunity as a part of learning. Yeah. And also another thing I'd like to ask you guys, you see that in our group here, right? Some people refer quite a lot of friends and sending friends. So I'm just trying to find a way that's sometimes like a way that to say thanks back to you guys. So what we have been doing in our events is that I have a lot of prizes like for students, like the best answer, the best presenter, the best business idea, the best comment, the best question. So everything like they earn like between the $20, $40, $50. So for students, they very excited about that. So in this group here, because it's the community learning and contribution from like all of us, so no cost to anybody, and because we love to make friends as well, and for us like Dan and me or Craig or Anthony, like we give something back to the community. Like it's the whole purpose of doing that. So that we would like to grow this community is stronger, because the more students come here, the better, and then we all learn, share. And I mean, today we have Steve from Paris and Rio from Japan, and it's great. And hopefully like one day we have more nationalities, different nationalities in here. So I'm just thinking, what do you think about this idea? I talked to Nga, who is the Kiwi Buddy ambassador, and she's thinking about it. But like for example, like when you refer friends, because in your accounts, right, you can have your own link, and then you can refer friends, you can invite friends, and then each time you invite friends, and then you have the badge. Like if you have like 50, you refer 50 friends or 100 friends or 20 friends. So what I'm going to do, because you contribute to build this community, so maybe like I said, like every month, whoever refer more friends, you can get like $50 or something. It's not about just the money, but I mean, I found that it's really good, like way to thanks back to like the members as well, because it works for the students. Is that right, Craig? What do you think?
Work out $50 is like 20 billion Vietnam dong. It's a fortune.
We can play
yeah. No, so it's about 750,000 Vietnam dong. So what, like in the beginning, at the events, like we give like cups and like the items as prizes, and then because students from New Zealand, Vietnam, we couldn't find a way to post, and then with COVID, we couldn't post, and then the first event we couldn't send our presents. So got stuck, and then we ended up like, oh, you're in New Zealand, we give present, like, oh, you're in New Zealand. Even Craig won the prize in the first time. He couldn't get it because he didn't live at Pims. So later on we realized that, okay, money. And if in Vietnam, I transfer money in Vietnam, in New Zealand, I transfer money in New Zealand. And it works out kind of well. So I will do, I don't have a post here for you guys to say yes or no, because I just came to my mind right now. So if you guys think it's a good idea, I will send you just a link like to messages, and you say yes, I will do that like monthly, and then whoever refers the most friends, because I can see like some people refer like hundreds of friends. It's a jeez, like I mean, how can I say thanks to those people? So if we, and also like the way we are learning this way, it's really good for us to make friends and learn some skills from each other. So if you don't mind, I will send that message to everyone, and then let me know what you think, like how I can say thanks to you guys for contribution to build this community, right? So that's from me. So hopefully you guys will say yes or no for me when I send the message. Right. So now I would like to say thanks to Dan, and would you like to say anything before we go?
No, I think I'm good unless anyone has any questions.
Yes, awesome. And Craig, would you like to say anything?
Oh, we better get planned for next week.
Yes. Yeah, exciting. So if you guys can get up at 9:30 in the morning, join us. And Curtis?
Yeah.
Would you like to say something to everybody?
Today's topic was quite interesting. Enjoyed?
Yes.
Today's topic was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiting for next week.
Yes. But
I'll have to plan, because morning 9:30, then again 2 p.m. I'll have to plan too many things.
We all have to prepare. Like for me, I prepared the events few months in advance, so we already have few events.
No, my preparation at home.
Really?
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
And Turkey, bring your phone this time.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll play Kahoot. Yeah. We'll play Kahoot. Yeah.
Okay, Kahoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring your smartphone this time.
Okay.
Yeah. And Anthony, are you still there?
I'm still here.
I have to say that I am very privileged to have you like with us every week, and I mean it's we only know each other online, just like this. We know each other online, and we connected, and we found the same like common interest, and we are here together. So I hope that you guys as well make friends with whoever in the room and on in our platform. If you just say hello to each other. We are stranger to begin with, but we are not stranger. I mean, like if we just smile to each other, we say hello to people and say, hey guys, you interested in something? I want to know something about New Zealand, or even like Steve wanted to know more about Vietnam. Text our Vietnamese friends on the platform, reach out to each other. And I mean, that's the best way for each other, for us to learn and help each other as well. Not just about like here, say hello, but if we can help each other somehow along the way down the track, then that is even better, and that's my ultimate goal. So feel free, and if that person is happy, then just talk and chat to each other. But see how we go. Yeah. So thank you, Anthony, for very much for all the just support and being here every single time so far, and hopefully you don't run away from us. Pressure on. Yeah. Okay, everybody. It's 10 p.m. in New Zealand. We're going to sleep, and it's back to work tomorrow. And Craig is going to.
He's already sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Too tired.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Thank you, everybody, and have good time. And thank you, Dan, like for today. You did such awesome job.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank
Thanks so much to
you.
you for putting this trip together.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Good
Thank
night.
you. Bye again. Bye.
Thanks.
Cody,
Good night.
Thanks,
Goodbye.
everyone.
Cody, remember you will be in the debate competition.
I know. I'll set an alarm.
You in the Cambridge High School team. Yeah.
Oh
We have
no.
to talk about it. Okay, see you, Ken, Helen,
Please
Ngân,
remind me to
Kian.
brew coffee.
Yes. Okay, see you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Good night. Bye.